Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of We Don't Know What We Don't Know. Coming to you from a puppy ranch. Had the wrong screen up there. I'm not going to restart. So, anyways, yeah. Saying hello to my little friends. All right. Coming to you from Galt, somewhere in the mountains of the United States of America. I am John Galt. Got to get right into it. You know my Friday routine. Always under the gun. All right. Friday dinner with the girls, right? Driving Miss Daisy. So anyways, Irish, Psalms 125:3. For the scepter of the wickedness shall not rest on the land allotted to the righteous. Luke 12:2. SBK. There's nothing concealed that will not be disclosed or hidden that will not be made known. That's a popular one that always has a place, right, in the agenda here as we keep moving forward. Sprinter 17, Ephesians 4:3-6. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, just as you were called to one hope when you were called. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is over all and through all and in all. Think about that last phrase, in all. Again, we're going to this, going to keep, visiting this, concept here to help everybody, I think, moving forward. What is the true rapture? What is the ascension? What is all of this going to really look like, right? How much deception have we succumbed to over the centuries and thousands of years and millions, billions and billions, right? What really is going to be disclosed as we keep moving forward? What will that look like, right? Wow. Crazy times. Shout outs to really not a lot of participants in our Triple Gs last week. SBK was pretty much the only one participating. Cuddling also got goatee, right? It's hey Wang, not hey Wayne, unless you're speaking it in and you're getting the AI bot on there, right? Under Siege, SBK, Lighten Up Francis, Stripes, Just the Facts, Dragnet. They're here, Poltergeist. Wow, 529. Yeah, that is 529. Seems like maybe yesterday, that was yesterday. A special shout out today. I think I'm going to give a special shout out each time too, just to somebody that's been around for a while, that participates in at least making comments, right? Whether or not you've got to play the Triple G game, right, or Galt's guessing game, up to you. But Theodore, that's a shout out to you, my friend. Our woo from last time was a trip that I made, a business trip that I drove because I was going to be there for a period of time. And so even though it was an all-day drive from DFW up to Denver, get out of Denver, baby, go. Because I needed the car and there's just certain elements that had to be taken care of there. So long drive from DFW all the way up through Wichita Falls through Amarillo by morning. Nobody picked up on that. The pig farms up in Dysart, or what type of farms? There is so much open land up there. That is one of the things that I took in, was just the vastness of that part of the country. Up into Panhandle, up into northeast New Mexico, and then up through southern Colorado on the east side of the Rockies. I mean, you literally, you've got little towns spotted, bing, 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 here and there, but wow. So anyways, a couple people picked up the vastness, the blue sky, SBK, you picked up on that. Pondering Soul, you were talking about, because you got to understand, I'm driving up there. It's probably, I want to say late summer, early fall. Can't remember exactly when. Probably late summer, probably the end of August, going around Labor Day. Sunroof's open, jams blasting. I'm on my own. I'm just like one man driving. So yeah, you had the hair going in the wind, although the hair was nowhere near what it is right now. So anyways, P-Dub, sorry, no connection this time. This is one of the rare occurrences where P-Dub doesn't lock into something, right? There's, when we go through the woo exercise at the end, again, I'm doing it to strengthen my own, say, ability, cosmic strength, whatever it is, right? God, think about this. A year ago, we were talking about when we first started the woo videos. That did you ever have that friend that you guys could like communicate, girls, whatever, without even saying a word or speaking in half sentences, right? That's what started us way, I guess at the initial juncture of this rabbit hole in the woo element. So we do that at the end of the show. I go through 6 to 10 mental screenshots of something that I did, something I did in life, not something I saw in a movie, not something that I heard about, I've seen on TV or whatever. It's something I literally went through. And so I'm going to hit images of that period of time, whether it's a vacation, whether it's somewhere I live, whether it's whatever, right? Business meeting, and see who picks up. Right? What's crazy, those that actually participate with us, it's funny that they're very consistent. Probably 7 to 8 times out of 10, they're going to hit something. Many have attempted, and I would say this, throw it out there, right? We're just working together, trying to strengthen each other. That's what we're doing. So that's what we do also. So, and for all the newbies, 5,200 strong plus 3 on the Who's Done Galt. So, what's that, about 5,600 now? Down from 120,000 15 months ago. We just give you a quick update on all the content that we posted over the last 72 or 96 hours, depending on what show you get. Friday shows usually 72 hours coming from Tuesday. Sometimes there's golf adjustments that need to be made. And we just give you a real quick snapshot of that content. You'll recognize if you're in here, many of the commentators that we're talking about. And then whatever floats your boat, because we go all over the map. We go election fraud, galactic, subterranean, bioweapons. We cover everything, right? Corruption. And it's all connected. See, that's the irony. And many are coming to that realization now. That's a cool part, right? Now, we can say we've been saying that for 5 years. Many are now parroting that exact same concept now, and that's cool because in reality, what we're looking to do is just to enlighten as many people as possible. And if it starts with just one area, great. We never expect anybody to go head first into everything we talk about here, because that would be just way too overwhelming for most, right? Think about all those that that have no clue of what's going on right now. We've talked about that. Play the game. Go out. We're going out tonight. I'll be looking around and say, okay, I wonder if that person's awake. I wonder if that person's awake, right? That person's definitely not awake, right? Anyways, let's get into it. X22 on Tuesday. Deep State's losing the fight. As they lose leverage, it's going to intensify the attacks. We're seeing now, in the ICE detention centers, shit starting to, and they're trying to push the button, right? They're trying to really ignite the fuse, light the fuse, ignite the fire, whatever, right? We said that it was going to come down to this. They are in their last moments. They get it, and it's just white hats really controlling the fight, right? Trump's removing the rhinos, right? Think about this. And we'll get into one of our favorites that we always talk about. I watched on Bannon the day after the Tuesday primary, so it would have been Wednesday. And he always shows the clips from CNN or MS Now, MSDNC, before he gets into his morning show. And on Wednesday, they were going into it and they were showing CNN basically just like doing the tally, all of the Trump endorsements, Senate, House, everything, batting 100. Not 75%, not 8 out of 10. Every endorsement he put out there won. And you know, especially in a midterm primary, voter turnout, you just never see big numbers. However, the ones that were turning out were the ones that were backing Trump's endorsements, right? Again, where is Trump? Is this really we've got somebody out there, and could they be compromised? We don't know, but I'm sure that the powers that oversee this whole operation, if one that is the body double, the clone, whatever it is, getting out of line, bring in the replacement, right? We know it. We've been talking about this for 2.5 years. I said this going in right after the New Hampshire primary in 2024, right? That's not the real Trump. We knew it. He's standing next to Ramaswamy. And Ramaswamy's 5'7". And Trump was like maybe showing to be a couple of inches taller, but not a half a foot. Same thing when we highlighted and talked about the Grand Prix in Miami. Year and a half. Oh, no, actually, that was 2.5 years ago when Landon Norris won it. And they're calling it a good luck charm, right? Because he was sitting there walking down the paddock and talked to Landon Norris prior to the race. And Landon Norris, another 5'8" individual. That Trump that we were seeing was literally maybe an inch or two taller, but definitely, again, not a half a foot. So we know this, right? It's just a game. It's a simulation. It's a simulation within a simulation. And here's the best part about it. I want you to think about this. It's scary. Real shit is happening in real time. No doubt about that. I get that. But if you sit back and consider the fact that at this point, if you're here with me right now, we talked about that. They streamlined me so I could get across a particular type of message, I think, that is really only talking to those that really actually are getting it. We've said this all along. We don't know what we don't know about how this is all going to play out. We don't know how long, how bad, but at the end of the day, we know so much. The vastness of our knowledge now, the wisdom, is also understanding that we know nothing. But we know a hell of a lot more than those people you encounter every day. Every day you're encountering them somewhere, somehow. Gotta have fun with it, gang. That's all I'm going to say. Deep state players are being targeted. Yep. Trump's getting after the people who attacked him. And again, think about this. He's making all these moves, and they are in their last bastion effort of being able to use the lawfare, right? And the most recent one I saw earlier today, that another federal judge basically told Trump, no, you can't have the fund that's going to like pay all the J6ers, right? De-weaponization fund or whatever it's called, right? Oh, they're getting paid, all right? And here's the best part about it. They're going to get paid, and they're more than likely I would say the maneuvering will be that they're going to get paid probably in some form of metals, gold, silver, whatever, however it's going to be out. Our new currency is coming out. Hello, McFly. Um, how people, again, we go back into it. We don't know. We know, but we don't know why everybody else out there can't see shit, right? So have fun with it. Here we go. Charlie Ward was back with his just daily one briefs, right? Uh, then you got, this is what I was referencing earlier. You all know where I'm going with this too, right? The weekly TDS update from Benjamin Fulford. Latest thing, again, it always comes back through and talking about what we just talked about. Ben, okay, we know it's a fake Trump. Don't worry about it. Get over it. The real Trump's in Cheyenne Mountain. Hasn't been killed, hasn't been taken out, right? Although they probably would like to. A technical glitch, right? And I'm not sure exactly what happened. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to recover that first section. I hope to. I do not have time to go back through it, so let's move on. We were talking about Fulford and his, Trump derangement syndrome. It's a different Trump. But the funniest part of that was him basically blowing smoke up Carney's ass and how Carney, outmaneuvered Trump. And I guess Carney's just going to, rule the world, according to Benjamin. Asia guy, again, it's hit or miss right now. I've gone to a backup, John A.G., OG John A.G. It's not the same channel. I know it. It's changing. But the one that myself and based on the recommendation of Andy Scheckman about 3 months ago, that this particular channel was the real deal. And that now is no longer posted, and I don't know the backup. So I'm looking for content. It's different, I know, but pay attention there. Nino had a full slate this week, right? Headline was with John Ponders and also a new individual, Dreamweaver, right? Gary Wayne. Very, very, very interesting show. I gave it the wowza, only because in one of the aspects or conversations, they went down like a side road and we're talking about a particular dream and analyzing that dream. And I'm sitting there going, holy shit. That's the exact same dream that I've experienced. And so obviously, I'm now looking into this individual and his content, what he's putting up there. Basically what he is a dream interpreter. So if you're having any of the crazy type of dreams like I've been discussing now for a couple of years, this would be an absolute must-watch TV, right? Anyways, in-game boomy with David Icke. I'll tell you what, it's almost like getting really, really interesting. Because David Icke, whereas for a long time, we just didn't come across a lot of fresh, new David Icke, just nail it, bam. I mean, let's now go deep. It seems like people are ready to go where he's been at for the last 35 years. And now, think about this. David Icke is on Nino. Nino is bringing... And I'm sure, based on just the way I view the world, that Nino is a production that has been systematically put together over the years. And for whatever reason, most people, not everybody, but most people resonate. I've had my fun with Nino over the years, that, but I always, he was a go-to guy when it came to getting Juan Osavina. One of them anyways, right? One of the many, but was always there. But he is now, really, he's got a producer, Mr. Producer, that is putting that all together for him, all right? Wow, I just hope that this is able to be recovered. It really is. Because I'm getting now different messages. We'll have to see. I'm just going to go forward. If it doesn't go, I'll tape it tomorrow morning. Anyways, bing, 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 bing. JMC, I had this, what they call the Global Defense Roundtable, right? With this time, Colonel Bossi, Mike Jaco, Brad Wozni, and Dr. Lee Merritt, okay? Interesting, very interesting addition there into this format. But she brings in, such detailed intel, things we've known, right, that are just now really now coming out into the forefront, right? Hell, this started 6 years ago with Brian Rose and David Icke. And Icke just, connecting the dots with all the bioweapon, the vaccine, the whole COVID-19 hoax. We, then coupled that with all of the bevy, but most notably, Dr. David Martin, that put together scientifically with the patents, with the receipts, that the vaccine was all pre-planned. The whole COVID-19 was all orchestrated. They want to kill you, right? So, man, we've been at this for 5 years. Can you believe that? If you've been with me for at least 4 of the 5 years, make a comment. Just say, I've been here since whenever, right? It was a good show. They're going into the AI data centers. Then they talked about the mask that was on. If you haven't seen that clip, go watch this show, find the clip. But, it's so blatant in your face. Here you go, right? Ancient bloodlines, hybridized non-human DNA in the medical history rooted in the poisons. That was Dr. Merritt's big segment that she came in and was really, really good. They got into the whole global financial reset. Kevin Warsh, 17th. The 17th. Think about it, right? We got little breadcrumbs we're sprinkling around. Had to replace Powell. Powell had to go before everything that's going to be unveiled. Powell had to be gone before that could happen. And they tried, and they're still trying. Oh, I'm still going to stay on as, on the board of governors. Okay, but pal, here's the thing. We have a new sheriff in town. The sheriffs are little, what they say? The 17th Fed chair that's going to oversee the demolition of the Fed, the introduction of the new currency. You got to understand, think about it. They're putting it out there. We have new currency coming out, and it's going to have the DJT signature on it. It's out there, mainstream. Not really being discussed and talked about, but it is out there, right? Anyways, I got into the UFO front, right, and talking with the, con that Trump put out there with the little gray, all right? Juan was on with Mary Crowley, Intel, talking about the war, right? Tulsi Gabbard, Tina Peters, and the fact that the hammer's dropping on those of the of Brennan, Clapper, Comey, right? All happening. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Which one do you want to talk about on this show? I I have a hard time when I figure out, I'm like, I sat here today and it probably took me 20 minutes to look at the final countdown. And when we get there, you're going to see why. Okay. Josh, back with his whole cadre of shows. And somebody asked me about why I don't feature Alpha. Maybe what I'll do is flip-flop between the Alpha show and the Daily Dose. I'm not going to put up both every day because I think the two of them are kind of like that symbiotic pair that are probably on the same wavelength and they're talking about the same shit on their each individual shows, but maybe breaking it up, like show Josh's show one night or the night that I don't know that I want to go Gladio. Somebody asked me about that, and because he's so far along in that whole series, I would almost think that you would have to start from show one, episode one, and I don't want to embark on that, but I will definitely look at the Alpha show, whatever it is. I know what the name is. I can't think of it right now. But yeah, I mean, these guys they hit it, right? And they are very now in tune with all the different verticals that we have been talking about for 5 years here. And Josh is going way deep into the whole intergalactic realm. I'm surprised that they haven't had Ismael Perez on. Maybe they have, and I just missed it. I don't know. That could have been early on before I was really following every show they did. But I'd be real surprised if we don't see Ismael pop up on like a Overwatch and the Guardian or DEFCON 0 or Q After Hours. One of those, now they do 3, right? Together again. But yeah, look for that. But I mean, they just had a very good lineup of talking points. I made a point here, Josh. The Overwatch and the Guardian, I want you to think about this as I talk about, we connect the dots and like shit just pops in, kind of like the little silver diamond in the sky one night. Lucy in the sky. First time I've ever seen this call sign. Refer back to last Thursday's show, and I mentioned this on Tuesday that I will, and if I find there's substance to it, I will definitely post it, which I did. Again, they're into the dreams. I'm telling you, I mean, for all of you that are out there on this journey with me, and at least at some point further down than most, you're going to get it. Trust me, you're going to get it, right? But the fact that somebody popped in first time and said, you haven't posted this, which because typically I think I've been posting every Overwatch and Guardian show since it started, except maybe the first one. So the fact that I missed one and somebody that first time, like number one, caught it, said, hey, by the way, you didn't catch this, you need to go catch it. Again, here we go. But anyways, Daily Dose, Silent War, Storm of the Century, Bing, 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 Trump World Order. Those were the 3 shows, titles this week. Just good to get caught up. Again, Josh does a very good job breaking down like good intel and a multitude of different talking points each and every show. That's why we post it. Again, we'll analyze the Alpha show there. Redacted did, and I posted this only because of what took place here in Ukraine, actually in Russia here last week, earlier this week. What is that, Friday? Yeah, earlier this week. That the title of the show was, they just crossed Putin's red line. So I've talked about this now for probably a month and a half. What are we seeing coming out of Ukraine anymore? And that is a resounding pretty much nothing. right? So the fact that we had something of this substance coming on the heels of the whole Iran conflict and supposedly, and we'll see how this unfolds over the course of the weekend now, because Trump, they announced earlier today, he was in the Situation Room evaluating the final aspects of the Iran deal. So we'll have to see how that goes. I think it's all going to be a big smokescreen because, again, as we spoke of last show, I look at Iran as the last battleground of the deep state cabal, demonic, Luciferian, bad ETs. You're a bad ET, right? But we'll see, right? We'll see how it all works out. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't know what happened with that last Gene Decode Roseanne Barr show. And I also know that right now, and if anybody was able to find it, I would appreciate a link that actually is still out there with Roseanne Barr and Gene Decode that has the sound. Be real interesting to see if somebody has a link, because we talked about it on the show on Tuesday. And I'm like, and then all of a sudden I start getting the comments from some of our, regular followers that, hey, wait a minute, there's like no sound here. And I went back and I'm like, damn, it's gone. And not only are the sound gone from the ones that I posted, but I couldn't go back and find where I pulled that from. So, like I said, anybody got it? Bring it on. Now, having said that, because of that, and it's, again, isn't it ironic, right? Don't you think? That Patriot Street Fighter now posts a 2-hour interview with Gene from last night. So, I've listened to it. I've posted it. I've listened to the post. The sound was there. We'll see if it stays there. But anyways, great show. I mean, really a great show. They go so deep into, and especially those that have been with me for so long, I've been following Gene since day one. When the first show that we did, I guarantee you, Gene Decode was included in that show. That was 5 years ago. So we know everything now that is, it's like Gene, as well as, say, David Icke that we referenced earlier, their presence is being requested on a very regular basis and on some very significant platforms. So is that all part of the plan? Was that all part of the disclosure? Call me silly, but I think it was. Street Fighter also had a great interview, short, 30 minutes maybe, with Ian Trottier, the author of Stakes, High Treason Stakes, something like that. New book he has out, really connecting all the dots to the Russia Gate hoax, Brennan's involvement, all the different aspects. And they got into what I found interesting. They really went deep into all of the people that he has been in contact with, sharing all the information that they should already have. So if you haven't seen that interview, you need to go back and take a listen to it. Great one. Ding. Ismael Perez, Ascension Update. Bam. These are, I'm going to be so really focused in on his upcoming shows every Monday, Wednesday, Saturday night, because what he's sharing and connecting the dots into how it all fits in. And he's getting that communication from Commander Valiant Thor, who has been widely reported to have actually met with Eisenhower. So it's not like, and he's like 600 years old. He's from Venus, right? Venusian. Is it that wild if all of this is true? It's a conduit of information coming to us. And all it is our job to keep sharing it. Discern, look at it, evaluate it, see if it like makes sense. But you're going to have to get out of your little cookie cutter shoebox of life to get your arms around some of this. But if you start looking at everything, connecting all the dots, all of a sudden, a lot of everything we've been talking about over the years is all starting to develop. Coming to a theater near you. My wife actually wants to go to the big screen and watch Disclosure Day. I think I'm going to have to. I've only been to a couple of movies. I think the Sound of Freedom was one that we actually went to the big screen to watch. So I'm probably going to have to do it. Anyways, Ascension update. Let me finish one last thought here. Solar flash will trigger that first wave. And here's the way I see it. You're going to have souls. And I'll give you a rundown of like some that I think would qualify into this category. The gene decodes, the Ismael Perez's. In some extent, you know, I look at Jean-Claude and I'm like, oh, okay, Cliff High, Simon Parks. Those would give you what I would say is a good, like, sampling of where I see that first wave of ascending that are going to go to that maybe 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th dimension. But then are going to still be in that realm to be able to interact with all of us here as we interact with those physically. However that works out. I mean, these are just thoughts in my mind, but it's a good update there. You really want to start connecting. If you want to go down this rabbit hole with me, you need to start connecting the Wu videos, the David Icke videos, the Gene Decode videos, the Ismael Perez videos, and listen to the message that's being weaved. And then look at the platforms, like in this case, I'll use the example of Nino with David Icke. And Gene Decode actually with both. Holy moly. Well, PSF with Gene, I think if I heard him right, he had a new show with Gene Decode on Nino's TV. So I'm looking for somebody that at some point is probably going to hijack that, and I'll be able to share it with you. I'm not going to do it. I already had a warning from Rumble 2 or 3 years ago. Don't need to go down that rabbit hole again. Now, the Wu messages, though, again, they're coming hot and heavy. I didn't get any up today. A lot of long format interviews today. And then couple that with running at super slow motion technology-wise. We had a internet outage here. And and again, right in the middle of like a major upload that I'm trying to get up because I'm going golfing yesterday morning. And Eric goes, and I'm still having issues. Right. So I apologize for that. But the messages in the Wu videos of late seem to be talking to, say, Starseed/Lightworker audience, which again, if you're paying attention to this video, to the videos that we have been sharing in that realm, You understand what I'm saying. You get it. But it's coming down faster, harder, heavier than what I've ever seen. So take it for what it's worth, right? Yeah, we'll see how we work this. Let's see if that works. Yeah, I'm in review mode. Boy, I sure hope. Okay, I apologize. Again, like I said, I got technology issues, right? And obviously I can't cue the final countdown. So let's just talk about it. We're sitting here watching everything that's being revealed and so much discussion around it. And it's almost like it's overload. It's sensory overload. And so this comes into where, I want to go with what we were talking about with Ismael and the ascension and the first wave, and then what I would call the pecking order that needs to be established to continue down this journey. Because in my viewpoint, looking at it now in a bigger frame, this has just started, right? I mean, we're just starting this process. And it's going to be in who knows how long process to rebuild it. We're going to tear it down. Shit's getting torn down. But how do you rebuild everything in a global economic, socioeconomic framework for 8 billion people that are going to come out of the ether at some point here in the near future, that they've been controlled by a blood-sucking alien race that would harvest them to access their loosh. Then all of a sudden you're walking down and it's like, bam, red pill, blue pill, bam, unplugged from the matrix, and you are viewing the world in such a different framework than what you were a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. And you're getting it. And again, I'll say this. If you're here because you're being called. It's a calling, right? And it is going to be what I view right now, kind of like a structured AI-powered type of environment that's going to build the framework out, the multi-tier structural framework, to be able to now gradually ascend from one level to another and like train and work with all the others that aren't there yet and bring them in. And it's like, in one of my former professional endeavors that I was involved in for a quarter century and was very successful at it. I don't participate in it any longer, even though I get recruited. As we've talked about, I was recruited to LifeWave by what is now the #1 income earner in LifeWave 4.5 years ago. Maybe 5, right when we started this, right? No, it was 4 years ago, because I was already entrenched with Root, affiliate, not network marketing, right? Much bigger, like if you're generating customers, you're getting remunerated at a much higher pace than in network marketing, one of those hokey MLMs, as Phil G wants to talk about now. This mission and the calling that I've been put on was like, there was that phrase that I was referencing, train the trainers. When I would hold, say, higher level like sessions with leaders within the company, that was one of the hammer home themes. Our job is to train the trainers. We cannot do it all. That aspect of delegating and building, train that person to take your position. That's where we're at right now. We have to find those within our own little communities here. You all have all your own. I have this plus my own personal. But train the trainers. Find those that are like you, that get it. They know something's coming down. And they need to start preparing themselves to be a trainer. We need to train those trainers so that they then can turn around and train others, right? Wow. All I can say is wow. I wake up literally, I do. I wake up every day, right? And I just lay in bed. And my wife, Mrs. Galt, gives me, the time to just, a lot of times for an hour, maybe even more, right? And I'm just trying to like continuously grasp the enormity of everything that we're working with so that I then have the ability to find the good content that will address that and then be able to come in and talk about it twice a week to keep you and all that you can share it with going on the right path. So anyways, that's it. I got to go to dinner. We're going seafood place, outdoor patio. Can't wait. Can't wait. Let's do the woo on 3. 1, 2, and 3. All right, gang. Again, I hope I'm able to save this. I definitely have issues going on. Hope it's there. Go out and enjoy the nature. Right? For now, who is John Galt?